Check this out. Last year at the University of Zurich, I was given this little toy, which consists of 4 permanent neodymium magnets and a little piece of graphite. If I place that over the magnets, it levitates. That is pretty awesome. And how does it work? Well, when the graphite experiences this strong external magnetic field, it actually affects the velocity of the electrons around the carbon nuclei, and that changes the magnetic moment to create its own magnetic field. So this graphite becomes magnetic itself and repels the magnetic field beneath it. And you can see that it's stable even if I nudge the graphite around, and that's because the field actually gets stronger. These magnets are north-south facing up, so the fields are actually stronger when I nudge that little bit of graphite outwards. Now, magnets have always fascinated me. I made a video about that earlier, but someone else they fascinated was Albert Einstein. He says that when he was 5 years old, he was amazed to see a compass needle line up with the magnetic field of the Earth. And you know where he got his PhD? The University of Zurich. There's a new series about Albert Einstein, his life outside of academia. It's called Genius, and it's on the National Geographic Channel, with whom I actually teamed up to make this video. They wanted me to talk about how I got into science. And I think I got into science the same way that everyone does, you know, with baking soda and vinegar volcanoes. And for me, the interest in science didn't fade from there. It only grew. I was a triple threat in high school. I took all of chemistry, physics, and biology because I found those subjects both challenging and very fulfilling. They were challenging in that, you know, physics, for example, has this reputation of being hard, and I liked that it had that reputation. I wanted to do well at it. I think this comes from my sort of natural competitive nature. I think deep down I want to excel and get the top grades. In fact, that's what happened in my high school. There were about 425 kids in my graduating class, and I graduated as number 1. Then after high school, I went to Queen's University in Canada, and I studied engineering physics. Again, I think I was drawn to that because I was competitive, and that was the hardest type of engineering you could do. And I did engineering rather than a pure science because I felt like I wanted to be practical, applicable, if I was going to study these things. Our final year project was designing, modeling, and building a wind turbine that was about, 3 or 4 meters tall. And we had to design it from the ground up, absolutely from scratch, and use physics to work out exactly how it would perform. And that was a really satisfying end to the degree. Winderific.
Say that again.
What?
Say that again.
Winderific. You know, these days I am obviously not a scientist. I don't do science every day. And so some people in the scientific community would ask me, do I ever regret that, I'm a science YouTuber rather than a scientist? And my answer is no, because I think you have to find the thing in life that matches best with your personality. Of course, I think a lot of us, when I walk through a physics building, I think everyone here would love to be the next Einstein. Everyone here would love to make a huge discovery about dark energy, dark matter, just any of the massive questions that are facing physics right now. Of course you would want to be remembered. I mean, Einstein was Time's Person of the Century. That's the appeal of science. It's so powerful and far-reaching. But science wasn't my only passion. From the time that I was a kid, I loved acting and singing. In fact, when I was 11 years old, I was on the stage in A Christmas Carol. I played the role of Tiny Tim in downtown Vancouver. And then throughout high school, I would work on various plays and musicals. I played the French horn in a number of bands and orchestras. Einstein played the violin, and he took it with him everywhere he went. I think that music and science are often tied together. And even through college, I enlisted my engineering friends to make videos. This was way back before there was even YouTube, but we were making silly comedy videos that included ninjas and vampires and yetis or Bigfoot, private detectives, pirates. There was something about filmmaking that I just fundamentally loved. And so when I came to do my PhD, I was looking to merge my passions, my interests in teaching, in physics, and in films. And that's why I decided to do a PhD in physics education research. When it comes down to it, I feel like my personality is best suited to this. I get to do the things that I love doing, the things that I feel I'm pretty good at. Learning about science, teaching science, and making videos, making films. And so I feel like I'm absolutely in the right spot. And when you think about what you're going to end up doing, I think there are a lot more important factors than your intelligence or your raw IQ. I think a lot of it comes down to motivation. Are you really inspired to do what you need to do every day to do that job? And when it comes to science, that can be particularly hard, especially for a personality type like mine. I think, I can find the process of science a bit tedious. That's not necessarily how I want to spend every day. And there's also a great risk with doing science where you can spend 6 months doing something and then it can not work out. And I would just find that so demoralizing. I think it takes a really particular individual to do science and really do it well. And so that's my recommendation whenever anyone asks me what they should do, if they should pursue physics or engineering or what they should do with their future. I always ask them to think about what you would be doing day in and day out and whether that appeals to you. Do you enjoy the process of the thing? I mean, there's two ways that we can think about things we want to do. We can think about them as though we want to do that activity every day, that we enjoy the process of doing whatever it is. And the other way you can think about it is as though you're going to enjoy the outcome, that the process is going to be very, very hard and not very enjoyable, but the outcome, having done the thing, is going to make it all worth it. For me, science falls into the second category, that maybe I wouldn't love the process, but I would certainly love to make a discovery like Einstein. I mean, wouldn't every scientist? That is the big dream. But the process, the day-to-day, is not the thing that I would love to do and not the thing that I think plays to my strengths. And ultimately, that is why I decided to go into more of a artistic pursuit than a scientific one. This episode of Two Veritasium was supported by the show Genius on the National Geographic Channel. New episodes air Tuesday nights at 9/8 Central, so you should check it out. And if you've missed any episodes, you can always catch up on demand at natgeotv.com. So I want to thank the National Geographic Channel for supporting me, and I want to thank you for watching.